This month on Inside the Lightning, pack your suitcase and come along for the ride aboard a Tampa Bay Lightning road trip. It's a 4-city, 8-day trip that will take the team from the familiar surroundings of home to the hostile environment in such cities as Philadelphia and Boston. You'll be on the plane with the entire team and experience what it's like to travel as a National Hockey League professional.
We really make sure that we're taken care of so we can perform on the ice.
For Lightning newcomer Doug Janik, it's a homecoming for him when the team plays in Boston. We follow the Tampa Bay defenseman around town as he prepares to play before family and friends.
Very exciting, you know. Down there in Tampa, it's not too close and you don't get back up here too often, so for them to be able to watch me play is very exciting for them.
The news doesn't stop being fit to print when the team hits the road. Lightning beat writers Eric Erlandson of the Tampa Tribune and Damian Cristodero of the St. Petersburg Times keeps Tampa Bay hockey fans informed and up to date in this critical early November trip. And for the team's equipment staff, it's double duty as the Lightning play home and away games on consecutive nights. And there's no rest for the weary when the team touches down in Philadelphia in the wee hours of the morning.
It's a bit of a scramble. We're leaving right after the games. We got to get to the airport first. You know, it's just a mad scramble.
All this, plus Rick, Chief, and the radio voice of the Lightning, Dave Mishkin, with their take on life on the road with the team. And NHL first for goalie Johan Holmquist and forward Eric Perrin, who had himself quite a road trip to remember. Next on Inside the Lightning, right here on Sun Sports. Wednesday morning, November 1st. The Tampa Bay Lightning hold their morning skate as they normally do the day of every home game. On this particular day, the Tampa Bay media is out in full force as the team prepares to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Coach John Tortorella addresses television news reporters, newspaper writers, and team broadcast personnel of both clubs following practice, as do Lightning players in the team's locker room. But this is no ordinary morning skate, or at least for Tampa Bay's equipment staff. For immediately following that night's game with Toronto, the team will fly out of Tampa and arrive in the city of the next night's opponent, the Philadelphia Flyers. It's a trip that equipment manager Ray Thill and his staff have prepared for since the schedule was first announced in mid-July.
Usually the night before or 2 days before, we have everything ready to go. The players, all they have to do is help us pack their bags, and we're pretty much out of there.
We do have a system because you can't just free-for-all it, because then you're going to definitely forget something. So a couple of days before that trip, I had tape up on the wall with their numbers, and players put out what they figure they'll need for that trip, the news sticks. There's the jerseys, socks, just a multitude of things that we have to get ready, and we load up into the big truck before the game.
I started 2 or 3 days earlier, had the trunks all packed or restocked and ready to go.
Mick has the jerseys and some of the extra stuff, and Ray, as the head guy, he kind of oversees everything and makes sure that we have it all.
We're all ready to go. The truck's packed. All we need is the players' bags.
The players are throwing their equipment into the bag, and as soon as they get it in there, we're hauling it out to the truck and trying to get there before the players get there, get it on the plane, and so when they show up, we can take off.
Immediately after Tampa Bay's tough loss to Toronto, the team embarks on the first of only 2 home and away games on back-to-back nights this entire season. So it's off to Tampa Jet Center in a charter flight to the city of brotherly love.
We got there at 2. We're ready to go. They load the truck with all the gear, and we hop in there if there's room. If not, we got to sit in the back.
We get to ride in a truck with a truck full of equipment. We go to whatever arena it is.
We get to the Walkaway Center and go have some fun.
We're there probably a good hour. We have to unload the truck and wheel the stuff down to the locker room, and then set everything up for the next morning, whether we have a skate or for the game, which includes unpacking all 20, in this case 21 bags.
Unloading the players' bags, getting it to dry out, turn up the heat in the locker room, basically get the room ready for the next morning, get the socks, the practice jerseys out, then back to the hotel for a little shut-eye, and then back to the rink around 9:30, I believe.
It's long hours for them. They're in the rinks at times, you know, that no one sees, no one knows. You think that everyone's at home in bed, and they're still working hard. So when you're looking after 20 guys and sometimes 20 big kids, it's a lot. So they do a fantastic job, and we really appreciate what they do for us.
I still get a kick out of being around the players and being with the trainers that I'm with. We have a good group here. Coaching staff, excellent. I don't want to forget the GM and everybody else. We try to have as much fun out of it as we can because, you know, there are a lot of long hours, long days, and you have to have a few laughs.
See you at Tampa Bay.
It's not like going to work. It's not a 9-to-5 office job where you sit at a desk and, you know, you're on the phone and stuff like that. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to be around the guys, and it's you know, everybody's your family here, and it's just a good time.
After the break, it's a couple of NHL firsts for a pair of Lightning players. Our own Bobby the Chief Taylor is welcome back to the city where he once lifted the Stanley Cup as a player. And later, we'll take a walk through Boston with Lightning defenseman Doug Janik. All this when Inside the Lightning returns here on Sun Sports.
Generally, when we go into a building, Chief and I will walk in together, we'll head to the press box together, we'll get ready to tape any segments, whatever we need to do. But in Philadelphia, I just go my own way, and because I know it's almost like walking in with the mayor of Philly.
There's such a giving people in the Philadelphians, I think. I mean, yeah, they're tough, but they just open up their heart to you. I love the city. I loved it. I always have been. It took me a long time to get over not being there. And it was like, in fact, I probably missed Philadelphia more than when I left home for the first time and left my mom and dad at 15 to play hockey. You gotta have some. Seal Baker has been the head of the tickets forever there, and she always gets this butter cake that is just, she brings an extra one for me, and I take it down in the dressing room, and the trainers always ask for me where it is. Yeah. What did he say? He's just giving you a piece. He needs a real piece.
It's great for him to go back, and everybody remembers him and his role in the championship teams, and of course his work as a broadcaster as well. And having it be 70s night there in Philadelphia was a lot of fun too.
I had no idea this was going on. I never realized I had such black hair. It was really dark, and it was fun. Tons of video on the Broad Street Bullies, my team, and it was really neat to see. It brought back an awful lot of good memories.
Working with Phil at home since 2002, 2003, my first season, and working by myself on the road. So fortunately for me, I have called games by myself for a number of years in the minor league, so it wasn't that much of an adjustment. Although it does require a little bit of a different slant in that you need to provide a little bit more analysis on the road because you don't have the color commentator. You know, it's other things that are challenges. Me, you know, I'm a new father. My little boy was born in March, so that was the first extended trip. So that was a little bit different as far as, you know, being away from him and my family for an extended period of time. But it's like anything else, you get used to it and you get through it.
Johan Holmqvist's first victory in the National Hockey League, and Chief, he had to earn it tonight.
He really did. I mean, he was so solid.
It was a great feeling, obviously. I've been waiting for that moment for a long time now, but I just went out there and played, and we won, and it was a great feeling. It was awesome.
You know, everyone knew that he was a great goaltender, but you know, he's getting an opportunity to play here now.
certainly running with it, and I think it all starts just building a little confidence in himself and in the guys around him.
It was great to see Homer succeed and get his first victory.
So for Johan Holmquist, his first National Hockey League victory. And for forward Eric Perrin, his first NHL goal.
It wasn't the way I really pictured the way it's going to happen, but I was kind of actually surprised, it was a 3-on-5 and I got sent out at the end of the game like that. And so, I intercepted the puck and I just, threw it out there all the way down and hoping it would hit the net.
Yet Eric's thoughts are also of home, where his wife Karen is pregnant and due with the birth of his son any day now.
She knew how much, at the same time that I wanted to be at the birth, I didn't want to miss a game either, and we were going on the road trip, and so we got together with the doctor and tried to organize something.
This organization as a whole has been very good to players and allowed players to adapt to these situations. And I know it's tough on Eric, but it's great for guys that are in situations like that. They don't have to feel that they have to make a decision over one thing over another. The coaching staff and general manager takes care for guys, so they don't have to think about it too much.
The trip has started successfully, and now the team is off to Boston, a place that has not been too kind to the Lightning through the years. When Inside the Lightning returns, we'll introduce you to the man that makes everything go smoothly for the team when they're on the road, Director of Team Services, Phil Thibodeau. It's a night out on the town with Massachusetts native Doug Janik as we tag along on a walk through Beantown. And for two Tampa Bay hockey newspaper writers, life on the road is in no way a vacation.